Here's everything I read in March. I already made a full video about this, but The Morning Star by Karl Ove Knausgård. I wanted very badly to dive into his corpus. I'm glad I did. I think you might be better off starting somewhere else. A lot of this felt like it was written at a third grade reading level for me. It concludes with a 60 or 100 or something page essay by the smart character in the book. That was fun to read. I did enjoy reading it, but it hasn't really stuck around very much for me, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, so maybe start somewhere else. Read Penen by Professor N. I'm getting kind of tired of this guy's whole thing. I've made various other videos on him, but in Laughter in the Dark, he plays tricks on you as a reader by pointing the camera in different directions and only allowing you to know certain things. In You Know What, the trick is the fundamental conceit of the book, that he writes the history of a heinous, grotesque crime like a beautiful love story, and everybody falls for it. This is sort of like his comic novel, so I found it funny at times. There were a couple of little devices or things that he throws at you that made me laugh. Like he used the word anent in a context where the word about would have made sense. It literally means about, and it's from the 13th century, and it was used in Beowulf. So he just used that as a middle finger to the reader, which I do think is pretty funny. I think the point with a great comic novel like what's coming up next is you have to know why you're laughing and at what and for how long. Be in on the joke with the professor who wrote this. I think you have to get a sense of what he's really trying for, and I'm not sure that's clear here. And next, something that has stuck with me since I've read it, I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, Lucky Jim by Kingsley Amis. This is his first novel. Holy moly, what he accomplishes here. It is so funny. I laughed out loud multiple times. I sent paragraphs to my friends, but it's also at times very emotionally affecting. There are some scenes that also put you in the shoes of someone who is drunk or is hungover. There are those 2 instances, respectively, that are just so memorable and creative. Please read this. It's really, really funny, but it's also just great. It's a great novel. We read Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin, also did a full video on that very recently. So I'm going to close with, that's it. That's all I read. And do you know why? Because I read hundreds of pages of stuff that I either haven't finished yet or that I DNF'd. I thought I was really going to love The Man Who Loved Children by Christina Stead, Australian writer. I loved the first 100 pages. I read 300 pages of that book. It's very long. And then I DNF'd it because I knew I didn't want to get to the end. You must abide by the sunk cost fallacy. There are so many beautiful books out there that you've never read and you'll never get to. But there are also, as I'm rediscovering now, I also have been rereading Brideshead Revisited. If there are books that you know you love, this is a great example, go back to them. Why not? But don't spend your time, please, on books you know you don't want to read. So yeah, I DNF'd that book after reading 300 pages of it, threw it out the window. I've started Anna Karenina. I'm 160 pages in there. Fascinating. Very excited to read that. And then I've just been reading other essays and Flotsam and Jetsam and other stuff taking up my time. So that's why I don't have a clickbait video of me holding up a stack of 15 books saying, here's what I read in the month of March, 15 books. Then you have to scroll through and stay on this app, which is melting your brain. Do I ever think about that? Did I participate in that by creating videos here? Yes. And that's all I'm going to say. Goodbye.